We're going to talk about part three today. Okay, so we have done lives and we've talked about everything that you needed as far as doing a live and what you needed behind the scenes. We've talked about why you need to do lives, and now we're going to talk about topics, what topics you want to do whenever you do a live, and we're going to also talk about vulnerability, which is one that I have been anxious to talk to you about, because this is my favorite part. This is like my favorite part of this training is about vulnerability. So, hey Omega, how are you this evening? Hey Amber, who is excited about this training? Because I'm super excited about it. Super excited. Hey Lacey, how are you, doll? Hey Casey. So, you need this one. Amber got a taste of it when we were on the phone. You got a little taste of what I had to say. You didn't like everything I had to say, but you it's one of those things, right? So, hey Megan, how are you? So let's talk about, let's talk about topics a little bit, and then we will wrap up with topics. Let's talk about topics, go into vulnerability, and then we'll wrap up with topics. That way, you kind of get a gist of everything. So, well, sometimes you got to call them out on the crap. I wasn't calling you out on your crap, but if you felt that way, then that's cool. at least it got through to you. So when you are going to go live, what are you going to talk about? What do you do when you push the button? What do you do about doing anything? Like, what do you talk about? What do you do? What do you focus on? So here are some things that you can do. You can talk about, you do not always want to talk about Red Aspen. You don't always want to talk about your products. You don't always want to talk about the opportunity. You don't always want to talk about your company, okay? You don't. So yes, you can show a kit. Yes, you can talk about a new adventure you're doing. Yes, you can apply lashes. Yes, you can show how to clean the lashes. Yes, you can show all of the beautiful products. Yes, you can do a live that talks about how this has changed your life. You can talk about why you chose to do this. You can talk about everything under the sun that has to do with this business, right? But that's not the only thing I want you to be doing, okay? When you go live, you need to shake it up. Are you a makeup person? Then do a get ready with me and do a full makeup. Maybe do get ready with me and do half a face. Maybe do get ready with me and do like half a face without lashes and the other with lashes and show the difference. Maybe show 2 different lashes on there. You can do videos where you're talking about your kids and how they did something and you're showing what's going on with the kids. There's so many things that you can do that are just easy peasy going live, things that are in your normal day-to-day. So maybe makeup's not your thing, but you love to read a book. So you go on and you talk about, I just read this book. Have you ever heard of this book? Let me tell you like what I got out of it. Or, hey Grace, or how about if it's a self-help and you go on and you're like, you know what? I just read You Are a Badass and it's a badass book. And let me tell you about it. You need to go get this book, and you start talking about it and sharing different things from it. There are things that you can do with that. If you love to, maybe you go to church, maybe you're a preacher's wife, maybe you really got something out of a Bible study, and so you come on and you talk about the Bible study or you talk about a scripture. There are so many things. What about you talking about dry shampoo and how you have to use dry shampoo because you can't wash your hair every day, and so you do a live about how to use dry shampoo and what your favorite dry shampoo is? Or how about you do a live about how you're washing your face and what products are working for you and how maybe you need different products because these products suck? Or maybe you use a little what is it called? I just lost it. You know, the derma roller. And you talk about why you would use that and what it does to your skin. Maybe you use a tanner. There's so many things that you can do. So many. It's the sky is the limit. Now you can get into some really fun ones, and I'm going to end this live with some really creative and fun things that you can do. But right now I'm talking about basic things that you can go live about, and then we're going to get into vulnerability. So hey Candace, hey Andrea, hey Amy. So another thing that you can go live about is you can talk about what you are cooking for dinner. You can do a cooking session. You can do different things about how folding got easier because you did this, or maybe some kind of tip to help them. Maybe you want to educate them on something. Maybe you talk about the lashes and you're educating them on silk versus faux mink versus mink and all these things, because we don't have mink, we have faux mink, and we have silk, and I hear a lot of people say mink, and that's not true. So, like being accurate about your things, so you learn and then you convey it to your network because you just learned it, and now you're letting your network know what you just learned. Maybe you're playing a song on a piano and you let them and you record it. Maybe you have somebody is singing in the background and you're coming on. There are so many things. So I encourage you, while I go into the next subject, to tell me, hey Lulu, hey Cheryl, what are some topics that you just throw out a topic? What do you think that you could do a live about? Just tell me, just off the whim, even if you're scared to death, if you could push that button, what is something you could talk about that I have not listed yet? That's just something just off the whim that you could talk about, that you could do, that you could share, that you could share with the world. Hey Esperanza, how are you? That you can share, that you can educate, that you can talk about. Here's a good one. How about when you open a gift? Whenever you get these gifts from your upline or from a friend, and why don't you open them? Why don't you open them and talk about them? Talk about the cosmetic products and skincare. Parenting life. Hello, Lacey. Love it. Yes. Depression. There you go. I love it. If you talk about depression, this is your platform, people. This is Maria TV. This is Lacey TV. This is Netflix show, The Way the Weather Is, work, Grace, perfect. So you can talk about things. You can come on and be like, hey guys, I haven't talked to you in a week and I'm worried about this. You can panic disorders and anxiety disorders. I'm telling you, you could do it. You can talk about anything. You can literally anything, Grace, anything you can talk about. Now you have to figure out what works for your network, because you don't want to get on there and just be like, shooting the breeze and there's nothing happening. You've got to kind of learn what you're wanting to put out. You can do a live like I've done it. You see some of my lives in the past where it's 5 this and 3 that and 2 this and that. You can do those things. You can do like 5 ways to ease your anxiety. And then another time that you're on a live, you're talking about how the anxiety was at a store and how you've overcome that. Or maybe you talk about how it's improved so much since here to here. There are so many things that you can really convey. Okay. So let's talk about being vulnerable and going into anxiety. That makes me think of it. So someone who's dealt with depression, someone who's dealt with anxiety, someone who has dealt with a loss in their life. Maybe they have suffered from losing a loved one to suicide, or they have someone who's attempted suicide. Maybe they've attempted suicide themselves. Maybe they've been assaulted. Maybe they've been battered. Maybe they've been, sexually assaulted. Maybe there's been some abuse in their life. Maybe there has been, maybe they grew up in child protective services. Maybe they didn't have the best childhood. Maybe they had a drug past. There are all kinds, you name it in your head, just think about it. Things that you come from. Think about all the scars that you carry. Think about the vulnerability that you carry because you're scared to look in the mirror because you don't like what you see coming back at you. Maybe you're not happy with your weight. Maybe you're not happy with the way that you look, your hair, your nose, your teeth, your anything, and you're tearing yourself down. Maybe you've experienced some really heavy bullying. Maybe it's been online, maybe it's been in person. Maybe you have dealt with some really crappy things in your past. I want to know how many of you have scars and have a past that you don't want to talk about and that you don't want brought up and that you don't want to relive, and there are skeletons in your closet. I better get everybody's hand. I better have like however many people are on this live, better have that many people drop in. Every single person has done something in their life that they are ashamed of. Every person. Every single person. And some people have dealt with things in their life that they don't want to talk about. Every single person's dealt with something. My skeletons have their own house. Well, mine's getting there too. I mean, it adds up, right? Like you have things you don't want to discuss. And you also are at a place where you've grown. You've grown, right? How many of you have grown from, maybe you suffered from something, you dealt with something, or you did something and you grew from that. Let's talk about somebody who dealt with drugs, and maybe they went to rehab and they got their life together and they're so much happier and they've been clean for 10 years. They learned, they grew, right? They really have come to the other side of things. Completely different person. Yes, ma'am?
Have you eaten?
Yep. She's cleaning. Completely different person, right? Like you bloom. You bloom because, thank you, I totally agree with you, Sherry. There is such thing as grace and there is such thing as mercy, and you can overcome, right? You can live and you learn. I just glanced down at this very moment, and I don't want to lift it up because it's got a bunch of other company things on it, but it's my old, you saw the board that I have in the other room that has all of the little signs and things, and this one has a bunch of them, and the top that I just looked at says, in faith you will triumph over all negative things. 2 Corinthians 2:14. So I just glanced down and saw that. So you triumph, right? Like you overcome things, and there's so many things in your past that you don't want to talk about, but there are some things in your past that maybe you should talk about. Maybe you should bring things up. Maybe you should discuss some of these things. I'm not talking about pulling skeletons out of your closet by all means, because there's some skeletons that need to stay up in that closet. Can I get an amen? Like they need to stay right there. They don't need to come out. Nobody needs to see those skeletons. They are fine there. They are dead. They do not need to be resurrected. But there are certain things that you can really tap into. Why? Why would you do that? Why the heck would you talk about anxiety? Why the heck would you talk about being abused? Why the heck would you talk about things that hurt you? You know why? I want to know. You know what? I'm going to ask you. Why would you talk about something that may be painful or something that you endured in your life? It would lift some, this one said, it would lift some weight off your chest. So many people can relate. Thank you, Grace. So if you start to talk about those things, people understand why you operate the way you do. They realize who you really are. They get to connect with you on a different level, and they can relate to you. So if you open up and you talk about the fact that you've struggled with anxiety for so many years and you've never really talked about it, and now you're going to talk about it, that's huge. Sherry says your mess is a message for others. You can form a bond with them more and follow. That's the thing, is you get these people who connect with you. I've said it before on my other lives. The people connect with you, right? They relate to you. And the more they relate to you, the more they want to be around you. And the more that they want to be with you and they want to hear from you. And they just sit there like they just want to hear more. And I love this, Bridget, because it's so true. It gives them hope. Okay? It gives them hope. It gives them a feeling of they can do, oh, I got chills. They can do it too. If you can conquer, they can conquer. If you lost the weight, they can lose the weight. If you feel beautiful and you used to self-hate and now you self-love, they can do the same thing. If you struggled with anxiety and you're still struggling, but you've come a long way, so can they. If you were going to vomit hitting the live button and now you're doing it, they can relate, and they are not alone. They're not. So when you are opening that door to vulnerability, you are connecting so much better. And when it comes to finding the right tribe, the right team, the right people to have by your side, you need people who are going to relate to you. You need people who are going to know that you're honest. You want them to be honest. I got on a phone call earlier with one of the girls, and I said, we were talking, and I said, she kind of didn't want to answer. I said, I need you to be honest. I'm being honest with you. I need you to be honest with me. And I said, I think I've made that real clear across the team here, that I'm going to be true and honest, and what you see is what you get. And if you don't believe that what you see is what you get, then this is probably not the tribe for you. And I'm just going to say it like it is, because I am fully 100% honest and true with what I say. And I am an open book when it comes to a lot of things. And that's how I'm able to connect. When someone starts to tell me that they're struggling, I can relate to things. Okay? Maybe I don't have an autistic child. Maybe I have no idea what it's like to have an autistic child. But I have a niece who has Fragile X and is autistic, and we have battled for years with that, and I've had to see it from the outside, and I know how incredibly tough it is. And I know what it means when they have to leave a restaurant because it's just too much. Or when Lauren, my niece, has a fit in the grocery store. Or, you know, all of these I've watched. So I can at least say, I get it, I understand. I also recognize what the puzzle tattoo is that someone has on their wrist. Or I understand what the X is for the Fragile X because I've seen it, because I know it, because I've related to it. Okay? So it doesn't always have to be you personally. You can relate to these things and you can connect with someone. It doesn't always have to be your personal testimony at all. So when you are being vulnerable, and I'm not saying you go live and you're vulnerable every single time you go live and you pour your heart out and tell them your whole entire freaking life. Don't do that. This is not your novel. This is not your book. This is not your whole like biography about your life, okay? You're not going to tell everything. But there are ways that you can start to let them in, okay? Even though this is the Grace TV, this is not Grace's biography. So you need to make sure that you are balancing it out. People come on Facebook for a couple of reasons. What do you think they are? I'll give you a minute to answer that. People come on Facebook for just about 3 different reasons, and I'm curious what you think they are. And when you are vulnerable, there's this connection like no other, but you don't want to always be there. You don't always want to sit in just like vulnerability, because that also leaves an open door for you to get sucker punched. Like you don't want to do that. You don't want to like, you gotta be ready to be able to stand firm and believe in yourself and know that it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't matter what anybody's opinion of you. Like my picture about mermaids we don't care about the opinion of shrimp, right? So it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. If you don't have that thick skin to be able to handle that, then vulnerability is going to be even harder for you. But I will say that the more vulnerable you are and the easier it is, you're going to have people who come in and are supportive of you and are behind you going, yep. So there's a couple of reasons why people get on Facebook. I asked if you know what those reasons are. One reason people come on Facebook is because they want to laugh. They want to leave life. Okay. They're coming on because they want to see something that makes them laugh. They want to relax. They want to just enjoy themselves. They're looking for leisure. They're not looking to be sold. They're not looking to find out that you're having a miserable day and you're, excuse my language, but bitching and complaining. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see it. What they want to see is they want to see people who are putting positive things out there, who are putting things that are funny out there. They want to laugh. They want to be uplifted. They want to be inspired. They want to see a post that lifts them up and makes them go, yes, women power, or yes, I love that, or oh my gosh, I needed to hear that today, or just belly hurting laughter. Okay. And the other reason that they get on Facebook is they're looking to connect. They're looking to connect with someone. So when you are vulnerable, you have the connection. Okay. And you also can include, you have the inspiration, or maybe you're laughing at yourself and you're talking about how crazy your anxiety was at this one event that you went to and how you curled up in a ball, and now looking back, like how ridiculous it was. You were curled up in a ball and it was in the middle of the whole room and everybody was staring at you. I mean, you can make it a little bit dramatic and laugh about it. And it makes people laugh, and it makes people want to see what's next. What else are you going to do? Are you going to make fun of yourself again? Are you going to laugh about things? Are you going to not take things so seriously? So that's where that vulnerability comes in. So I'm going to talk about the other part of it. the funny, the inspiring, those kinds of things. You can come on and you can give tips. People want to be educated. People want to learn. So if you come on and you talk about how you just found a really good way to at least keep, to lose 2 or 3 pounds over the weekend. And here's the 3 steps that you need to do in order to lose pounds over the weekend. And there could be 2 ways that you do this. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 steps of how you lose weight over the weekend. Number 1, you're gonna drink 2 shakes, and you're gonna take some fiber and whatever, and then you eat a lean and green, and then this, and you kind of like go through a detox, whatever. And that would be educational, and people are listening. The other side of things is you can do this a little bit different, and you can say, here's 3 ways that you can lose weight before the weekend. And you could say, 1, go buy a box of X-Lax. 2, sit on the toilet. Like, you can make it funny, and people are gonna laugh, and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, is this girl crazy? Is she for real? And they're gonna laugh at you, okay? So there's those things that you can do, something that causes laughter. So you can either educate, inspire, uplift, or make them laugh. I have done a live with I call him my husband because he's like my gay husband. I've done a live with him, and it was the black mask that you peeled off. And I was like mean. I was like ripping the mask off of him. Everybody was laughing. We had so many views, and he started sweating profusely. Like, the mask wouldn't even come off because he was sweating so bad. People are laughing. I'm laughing. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard in this live. I've done things where my daughter is my arm, so her arms are underneath, and she's the one putting on my makeup, and I'm having to just like sit there and let her do it. Or I've had my now 18-year-old, when she was 16, she wore a blindfold and she did my makeup, and I told her what to do. So we sat next to each other, and I told her step by step how to put on the makeup, and she had to just do it blindfolded. There's so many things that you can do and be creative about it to make it fun, to make it interactive. You can do random thoughts or random facts, or all kinds of things, and people are going to tune in because they just want to laugh. They just want to have a good time. But in doing that, they're also getting to find out about you. They're getting to find out more about you and what makes you tick and what makes you laugh and what makes you be the person that you are. And you're relatable to them. So whenever you're allowing that vulnerability in there, and then you're allowing a lot of that, the laughter and the fun, it's a good concoction to a great, great, great profile. And somebody that they want to follow, somebody that they want to be around, because now you've let them into your world. They're somebody that you can sit with and chit chat with in your backyard, because they know that you're funny, and they know that you're relatable, and they know that you can educate them. And maybe you think, I'm not funny. I am so not funny. I don't make fun of myself. I am not funny. I won't do that. That is just not me. I will not. Just not going to. Then don't. Educate. Do other things. You don't have to be funny. Jeez. You don't have to be. You can just be yourself, because that's who's going to relate to you. Here's the thing. Who you put out there and what you're doing is going to come back to you. The black charcoal teeth cleaner. I have not done that yet, and I really should. I wanted to and haven't done it. But who you are wanting to attract to you is the people that you are. So if you're not funny and you're not going to do that, and you try to be funny, and then someone meets you and you're not, doesn't jive. So be honest, be you, be relaxed, enjoy yourself, and just let people connect with you. When you do a live, all you're doing that live for is to let them have a piece of your life. You're getting 15, 30 minutes of me every time I do a live with you. And the whole time I'm doing this live, I don't get to see you. I don't see you driving in your car. I don't see you chasing your kid in your pajamas. I don't see anything about you. I don't see that you're sitting in the bathtub fully naked. I don't see that. But you get to see me. And you get to see whether I turn a certain way, or I twist, or I blink my eyes so many times, or I stutter, or I can't even say the right word, or the way my hair is, or whatever. And you realize this girl has flaws just like me. This girl suffers from this just like me. This girl is crazy just like me. this girl's pretty funny. I want to get to know her. Whatever it is that you're thinking, or I can't stand this girl. Well, how the hell am I even in here? Whatever it is that you're feeling or thinking, at least you're getting to know me, right? That's what it's about. So you push the button and do the damn thing, okay? Just do it and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Do something funny, do something creative, be educational, be yourself, but just do it. And I guarantee you're going to thank me later for it. Because when you start opening up and you start sharing these things, you start to have fun and your guard drops and you start to let people in. And guess what? More people flock to you and more people want to be around you and more people want to follow you. More people want to join you. More people become your people and they become your tribe. Guarantee you. You want to find the right people for you. You want to find the right people that to join your team, to be in your inner circle. Go live. Tell them what you expect. Tell them what you think. Tell them how you feel. I'll give you a perfect example and then we're going to wrap this up. So if anybody has questions, now's the time to start thinking about them. Yesterday I did a live. Not exactly a crowd-pleasing live. And I talked about my opinion about a subject. It's not an opinion that most people agree with, okay? And I was very blunt and I was very aggressive about it, okay? In my own way, in my own Jen way, because I always soften things up. But I made my own opinion, I laid it out and I explained why. If people don't agree with me and they want to say something about it or they just don't like it, they can either stay my friend and just agree to disagree, or they can see themselves off my page, and that's fine. But the people I'm going to attract to me are the people who agree with me, because they're going to come to me and be like, yes, I agree with you. That's what I'm talking about, girl. That's who I want. And when they want to join someone, they're going to join the person they connect with and that they agree with and that they want to be around. Someone that they're aligned with, same mentality. Make sense, guys? So, any questions about vulnerability or topics for a live? I think that this was a massive amount of substance for y'all. And tomorrow we wrap this up. And I'm excited about that. We're going to wrap it up. I think it's a little later in the evening because I'm going to be gone all day tomorrow. So, anybody have questions before we hop off? I feel really good about this live. I hope that y'all did too. I hope that you got some value out of this. Talking about vulnerability. It's really hard to get vulnerable. Really hard. But you just got to do it. You just got to do it. With all the ums and the likes and the whatever, stuttering, everything, you just have to do it. That's it. Just do it. All right, guys, have a beautiful night, and I will see you tomorrow for part 4 when we wrap this up. Bye, guys.